For our pan sauce, we need to chop up some tarragon. We only need a little bit, though. We only need about a teaspoon. So I'm just going to chop that up. It's a little more than a teaspoon, so that'll be fine. Doesn't hurt to have a little bit more. I like the taste of that with lemon and the butter. Yum. We're also going to need at least 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. So I'll just cut up a lemon and I can squeeze that into my little bowl. Might as well just cut up this whole lemon. That's easily 2 teaspoons. In addition, we're going to need at least 1 shallot. So I'll just cut this thing in half. Peel it, and then we'll chop that up. Well, actually I'm going to use both halves because we have whole shallot. I want this to be pretty fine. I don't need it to, I don't want it to be that chunky or big. So we want it to be in a sauce that we can pour over the top of the chicken. And that's good enough. Okay, we need to preheat the oven. I'm going to bake at 450 degrees. Yes, 450 degrees. And what we need to do is put in our pan. About the middle rack. Make sure you have enough room for your chicken, but preheating the oven at 450 degrees. That's hot, I know, but when you watch, this is going to be a unique way of cooking or roasting chicken, and we do it very hot, but then wait and see what we do that's really kind of different here. while the oven is preheating, we need to get our chicken ready. This is a 4-pound, just slightly over 4 pounds, but 4 pounds is about the perfect size to do this method with. You can do a larger chicken, but you just have to add a little bit of time to the cooking. Let's get this guy out onto the cutting board. And we need to take a paper towel and get him dry. So I'm going to dab a paper towel on him or her. Get under the wings, around the legs. And just get it nice and dry. Not all chickens come with giblets in it. Some of the larger ones do. So yeah, I want to take the giblets out. Usually a roasting chicken will come with the giblets in it. And I want to trim it up a little bit. Take this extra fat off. Don't want to take too much of it off because there's a lot of flavor in that. And we also, you want to get some, if you don't have any, you can get some cooking twine. I don't know, it's cooking, baking, it's a twine, that butcher's twine. That's what it's called. I want to cut off a piece. And I want to tie these legs up. Just like that. And let me put 2 knots in it. And then cut off the extra twine. And before I put her in the refrigerator, before I put it in the oven, I want to tuck these wings in. And there, he's ready to go, except for we now need to oil him up and salt and pepper him. So I'm going to wash my hands. Always important to keep your hands washed, especially with poultry. So I'll have one hand that handles the oil. I'm going to just use extra virgin olive oil here. This is the kind that's for sauteing and stir frying. And I want to put oil all over this chicken. This is going to be so I can get a nice crispy crust on the chicken. Just rub it in. Have to redo those wings. And again, still using my right hand is my clean hand. This is kosher salt. And I just want to cover him with kosher salt. And while I'm at it, I'm going to put on some cracked black pepper. Just rub it so you kind of get it as even as you can. I'll get the other side. Some salt and some pepper. Very good. Now I can turn him over, get the wings tucked back underneath. And that's ready to go into our frying pan as soon as that comes up to 450 degrees. Even when the oven says 450, I'm going to wait a little while to make sure that pan is also good and hot. Okay, now I'm going to take that very hot pan carefully out of the 450 degree oven, and we're going to quickly move the chicken onto the pan. Now, I've got olive oil on it already, so I'm not worried about it sticking. But I want to get it back in the oven. Still at 450 degrees. Now I need 25 to 35 minutes for a 4-pounder and 35 to 40 minutes if you have a larger chicken. But you can look at the skin and determine when it's time to take it out. You want it to get nice and brown. Okay, that's been about 35 minutes. And we can see it's getting kind of nice and brown. That's good. So now we're going to take it out. If I can do this holding the camera without burning myself. That looks good. And what I'm trying to do, the reason I took it out is I want to check the temperature. I want that, let's check the dark meat, staying away from the bone. 143, 154, that's great. Here, 164, so it's plenty high enough. And here's the trick. We put this right back in the oven. And we turn the oven off. That's the trick. So now we're just going to let that set for about another 30 minutes. Okay, it's been another 30 minutes. I'm going to take the chicken out of the oven. You see that beautiful pan sauce we have in there? Just to be extra careful, I'm sure it's fine. I'm just going to check the temperature of the dark meat. 172, that's really well done, and the breast 184. So yeah, that's very, very well done. So always use a thermometer to check the temperatures. You're safer that way. And we'll put the chicken on. I washed the cutting board, of course. We'll let it sit on the cutting board while we work on this pan sauce. So we got to remember that that frying pan is hot, so I don't want to touch it. I'm going to take out all but about a couple of tablespoons of that chicken juice or chicken grease. I'm going to flip this, and we're going to make our pan sauce now. So I'm going to put this on medium high, or medium, just over medium. Get it good and hot. Now I want to pre-mix while that pan is starting to get hot, and it's getting hot pretty quickly. I want to put into my little bowl here, put in my lemon juice, and I want to put in, I want a lot more sauce, so I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of butter. And I need to put in about 1 cup. Actually, I'm going to make a little bit more than that, so almost the whole can, not the whole can though. And I'll put in my tarragon and my shallots and some Grey Poupon. So I want to put in at least 2 heaping teaspoons of Grey Poupon or Dijon mustard. I want to mix that up. Okay, we got a good hot pan. I want to let that simmer. I want to melt the butter. I'm scraping the bottom of the pan, trying to get some of the fond off from the chicken. Butter starts to melt. We want to reduce this by about 25%. So I'm going to leave that pretty high temperature so it'll reduce. I also want to add a little bit of pepper. So I'm going to put some cracked pepper in there. We'll just let that reduce by simmering. So now that our pan sauce has thickened, it's not real thick. You could make it thicker, but I carved up the chicken, and we can just put that pan sauce right over the top of the chicken. It's delicious. Tarragon, butter, little pepper, some Dijon mustard, and chicken broth. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy making this. It is interesting that you cook it on such a high temperature and then shut off the oven for the rest of it. It's unique, and it comes out very juicy. Thank you.